Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool, good. All right, so as promised, let me see, it's still waiting to go. Hold on, just give it a second. Make sure it's saying upcoming. So one out, going back in. All right, here we go. All right, I just had to give YouTube a second. All right, so Truman Collins piece in Newport Particles time. We're back with number 9. You know, 9 is our number. And we wanted to continue on with Leviathan. And the kin in chat ripped up the heavens once again. And it put us on a nice, beautiful path. Because the whole thing is, noon is what it says it is, which is a science. And part of being a Noonibu and a follower of Sunrise Reason, that we supposed to transform all of these pantheons and religions into scientific, up-to-date sciences, because all of them are sciences. Religion is just the weakest of all of them, but when you really analyze the story of these religions, let's say the Bible, for example, it talks about space, it talks about matter, it talks about time, it talks about stars, it talks about the earth, it talks about water, it talks about life and the elements, and it has the zodiac in it, it's coded and all that stuff. And these are parts of the mysteries of the bottom half that Zupu uses to control the ignorant. So when Nupu comes on the scene, Nupu observes and watches. Nupu goes into the minds of the orbs and look back at the last millions of years that it wasn't here to see how things got to the point that it got to. Then Nupu then starts finding ways to counteract to keep the smack circle of order going. And this is why Nupu is silent in the first 36 years of Afro Unu's life, because Nupu is looking at the smack circle multiple times, because Nupu was born a mental giant, so it's nothing impossible for Nupu to have access to and figure out how to solve certain issues. That's why it's, some of the in the smaller book, I think it's in the moon set and sunrise. They ask, can the future be built from the past? I'm paraphrasing. And Afro Unu say yes. So Nupu looks further back than just the last 72 million years. Nupu looks further back, the same way our ancestors, when they was pharaohs came into play and the kingdom was weak, the pharaoh would reach back onto the ancients and look at old inscriptions on the wall or something older and get inspiration from previous rulers, and they would find ways to imitate what happened before them and try to improve on it and make it better depending on the problems that they're facing. So this is what we're doing here. Now we're reaching upward instead of backwards, because Sunrise Reason is definitely an atmosphere, which is the ultra high energies that Anut had pointed out with the chat. And so with that, I wanted to explain that Anut said some things about Leviathan being in multiple places beside our sun. And that is very important because a lot of us don't understand that. Okay, we didn't understand the importance of him making that statement. Now, me and Anut had been in separation for a while, and I wrote something in 2024, and I'm gonna share that with everybody now, which already, so y'all can see how things work. All right, so I'm gonna share. This is a book that will be coming out soon, and it's called Leviathan is a Sex Force. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, but
Do I need
of
to
course,
make
you just gotta. Yeah, just probably just gotta do that, and you should be good.
tell me if that's good?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Let me
And
see
I
this.
think you could close the window on the side if you want and make it bigger. But yeah,
All right, let me make it a little bit bigger. Let me see if that works. How about that?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so as you can see, I started inscribing this Sunday, March 31st, 2024 at 12:51 a.m. 311 days before February 5th, 2025. All right, so here I'm going to skip through. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on, okay, and I got to make this right here because it's too big. Wait a minute. Let me shrink it a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to dig into ancient Kemet. All right, so we're going to go into a couple of things. All right, so Apep is the ancient Kemet's name for Leviathan. All right, so just to make that clear for those who might not know that. And it said, like many ancient Egyptian deities, Apep's origin story varies from one ancient text to another. According to one Egyptian myth, Apep emerged from Ra's umbilical cord at the time of the latter's birth. The Romans, on the other hand, referred to Apep as he who was spat out. This epithet runs parallel with his origin story found in a different text, which states that Apep was born out of the saliva of the goddess Neith. Saliva. Neith was venerated as the creator goddess of everything in the universe. Additionally, she was primarily in charge of wisdom, motherhood, water, childbirth, water, etc. In this account, Apep is seen as the sibling of Sobek, Ra, and Tutu. So I'm just going to jump around, and you're going to see where I'm going with this. All right. Now look at this. Listen to sound right, cosmic reason. To get the proper context about Apep, Leviathan, we must read into the backstory of Neith and then use noon science to clarify. Malignant serpent god Apophis, symbol of chaos and forces of darkness. Some early myths say that Apophis was primarily his sun god himself, but had been cast off. Apophis' conflict with Ra is found in several mythic accounts. Remember, they try to call our information mythic because they want you to believe that it was just a story that we made up to pass time. All right. But Afro states in the nature books that a lot of myths are really containing the true history. So you have to go into the mythology and know what you're looking for to be able to understand where it is. So we're doing that right now. All right. It is said that each day Apophis waited for Ra and Baku, the mythological mountain of the horizon. All right. So what they're talking about here, when you go into the smack circle, and those who've seen it, you have a cross in the middle of a circle. You have 6 east to the right, 9 north to the left, 6 west, 9 north to the top north, and then 6 west to the left, and 3 south to the bottom. 6 east to 6 west is called the horizon in ancient Kemetic texts. So I'm just telling you that. So we'll get to all that stuff later on. We got diagrams and all of that, but I'm just laying it here for future references. So when we come back, when we get to the forefront, we'll be able to come back and say, okay, I remember when Tar said this. All right, so that's why they said it's not a mountain, but because the smack circle, if you look at it, we at the bottom at 3 south. And if you look at how far back 6 west is 18 million years, that's called the horizon of existence coming down. You have a descending horizon of 6 west, or the duat, or the Amaduat, to the ancients, and then you have the extending horizon. All right. So it said when the sun set, it's 6 west, and according to another, the monster usually was lying hidden in wait to ambush the solar path of Ra before dawn. Sometimes his attempts to disturb Ra resulted in storms and bad weather. The goddess Neith, an archer goddess of the Delta, spat in the primeval waters, and a poppet sprang up from her saliva. Alternatively, Neith was the first being on the primordial mound, and she gave birth to the sun. Ra, blinded by his brilliance, could not see his mother when she called out to him, so he shed the tears that formed humanity and exerted the principle of duality. Light could not exist without dark. Therefore, immediately after the creation of the sun, the darkness of Apophis was born as the antithesis of Ra from his tears. Some early myths say that Apophis, primarily sun god himself, had been cast off. So what we're doing here is, again, the way they telling the story, that, again, remember, we have to take this and bring it back into the actual scientific explanation, because the story is not going to give you the actual real to real. You have to actually translate it back into its proper scientific state in this day and time for it to make all the sense in the world. All right, so now let's focus on the word cast. Throw violently, fling, hurl, from a Scandinavian source akin to Old Norse kasta, to throw. Cognate with Swedish kasta, Danish, cast, North Frisian, casting, a word of uncertain origin, meaning to form in a mold, is late 15th century. In the sense of the throw, it replaced Old English, warpen, warp, and itself largely has been superseded by throw, though cast still is used of fishing lines, 17th century, and glance is 13th century. So it should be clear that cast means to throw or hurl with force. According to our ancient ancestors, they knew Apep came from the sun called Neith. Let's remember that word now. Who was the serpent and how did it beguile Eve? The serpent was Leviathan, a giant sex and spirit force who was able to control peoples and nations by sex and by spirit generated from blood and waters of the earth. Leviathan, who has many spirit members and parts distributed throughout the earth, was cast from the sun approximately 17,250,000 years ago. Now, I want to add something in, since Anu in the chat was saying that it took some time for the ice caps to form. Here, it gives you a term because it says 17 million years ago. So if we add another, 750,000 years, that'll make it 18 million, right, Anu?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. So that means by this here, it took 750,000 years for the ice and all that stuff in the process of evolution to start, because what Anu in the chat was explaining was all of the bombarding of of 6 ether coming in as particles and rearranging land masses, pushing the remnant of 9 ether water to the bottom, destroying life and coral reefs and bringing up new land masses, submerging other ones. All that stuff is how long it took. By this here, it took 750,000 years for Leviathan to turn the atmosphere into what it needed to start to get evolution on its way. All right. Then it says the moon cycle is the climax of the evolutionary cycle, which we just came out of the moon cycle 63 years ago, but it's still climaxing into the cataclysm. The serpent Leviathan is the moon god Sin, who hypnotized. Now, Anu had already broke that down, and that comes down into brain waves, alpha and theta. Right? So those two things deals with relaxing and also meditation. So we know that spirituality, religiously speaking, dealing with what Anu broke down with the chat about Adam and Eve and the different types of rituals that the Sumerian sex cult of Ishtar was doing, and then they translated that over to the Hindu priests and nuns, and they was introduced to the sex in the form of Shiva, and they did it a Hindu, they did it an Indian type of way because the Vedas are very old. So they had already predicted this stuff and it was already written, even though it was different names, but these are the same gods, but they just take on different names in different cultures. All right, so the moon god Sin now is identifying Tahuti at this point. Remember, Leviathan is all spirit beings because it's energy. All these spirits are made up of ions and all this stuff. So the serpent, which is Leviathan, was already bombarding the spirit world because Tahuti didn't existed in the top half. But when Leviathan came in, it bombarded them and hit them first and started converting them into more negative energies and death energies. And so what it means is Leviathan is an enhancer. So it enhanced Tahuti in the form of medicine, magic, writing, spells, and the moon by itself already controls human beings because most human beings is composed of water. So Leviathan is an encircling type of thing. And in the Bible, Leviathan is recorded as being casted to the in chapter 12, casted down to the earth and to the sea. So the Leviathan didn't just go into the sea. That's the Bible editors editing it because we know that 6 ether Leviathan penetrated the atmosphere and hit the ground, the grass, the insect. It did all of that. It didn't just go into the water. And this is why the Afro-Uno in these writings say that Leviathan is the earth god at one time, the sun god at another time, the underworld god at another time, the moon god at another time. It can be all of them at the same time because Leviathan as energy is all encompassing. And we're going to get to what Anut was saying. Just watch. Now it says, Sin, Tahuti, who hypnotized Eve and excited her womanhood by what? Its forces. When Afro-Uno was using the word forces, it's talking about the scientific term for forces, which we're talking about what? Elements. Those are forces of nature, atoms. You understand? The ions and protons. Those are the forces that Afro-Uno is talking about in these particular forms. Now, these forces, like he said, already entered into the ground, into the vegetation. These priests and nuns who were targeted by the Tibetan monks knew how to take the food and certain other plants and create those sexual urges from those aphrodisiacs that came from the ground. So they got a more physical, denser version of those energies that Leviathan through the atmosphere came down and start poisoning the earth. And remember, he said you got predatory insects, predatory vegetation. See? So when you use vegetation in the form of sex and to influence people with sex, that's what? Predatory. So when somebody at a party in the club like Puff Daddy and them was doing, putting all that stuff in people's drinks, those are predatory drugs. Drugs are they come from the ground after they dig it up and they break down the flower or the particular herb and isolate it, and then they turn it into a pill. All right. So, but those are predatory things that these the Tibetan monks targeted the priest and nun the same way the Mongolians targeted the that other Hindu king. What is his name again? Anu.
Lomapata.
Right, Lomapata. He got targeted by Mongolian monks who was using the same type of thing. All right, so Tahuti is the main. He's the main person for the first 4,000 years of the moon cycle. Was rampantly running around setting up sexual cult centers the same way Epstein is doing on all these islands that they have. And if you didn't know, Jay-Z and Beyonce has an island too, just so y'all know. And while I'm on that topic real quick, Disney World used to take boat stops at Epstein Island with Ghislaine Maxwell when she was a little young. I think in the late 80s, she was working for them and they got a picture of a flyer where Disney was making stops at Epstein Island, just so you know. So all these sexual cult centers is set up by the moon god, because Tahuti is the god of medicine, and medicine and drugs is the same thing, because when you look up the word witchcraft in Greek in the New Testament for witchcraft, the word is pharmakios, and that's where you get the word pharmacy from. So Tahuti is the god of drugs and fentanyl and all this stuff in conglomeration with the earth god as well. All right, so let me just keep it moving. All right, said its forces, and in turn Eve excited Adam's manhood, and they had sexual intercourse, which was forbidden by the laws of the sun god, which we know that the sun god was so angry, he murdered a lot of them. And then he had to calm down and realize that this was the beginning of the 6,000 plus years of the moon cycle, which Tahuti them was coming in, and he was in physical form. And that means that the moon god was in a physical form, incarnated as well. But the book doesn't say who Tahuti was in at that time, unless it's that King Lapata. Or what? How you say his name again? Lumapata. Well, Lumapata was he around 6,000 years ago, or was it lesser than
that? It said roughly around that time, because that was the same time that the sage was lowered into
okay,
the,
all right.
to the
So
kingdom
most likely it could have been Tahuti or one of his minions, because Tahuti them was actively, because what we seen with a new in chat was finding out that you had these sex cults was being active around the same time, and ChatGPT was giving the story. Go back 2 videos and you'll see that. So these sex cults was not just being set up for their personal people in their particular culture or city or town, but they was moving around and victimizing other individuals and then teaching them. Because we can see that the way the moon god Sin moved with Lapata and tried to and moved against the moon and moved against Ray Harakti, right? And these other people, they tried to seduce them. And once they seduced them, then they trapped them, and now they got them going around setting up shop the same way Diddy and Cassie was working as a team and bringing other people in. So that means that this is a covert sex mission. Okay? Now, this is why he said it was forbidden by the law of the sun god, because Adam and Eve were what? Priests and nuns. Before Adam and Eve defiled it. That means that whatever was going on before they got involved in this, they had to be doing some filthiness, because sex was sacred, meaning it was used only out of necessity, not out of lust. The serpent Lucifer, which is Leviathan, brought lust into the picture, and it does this through stimulating sex in various ways. And this is why it is called a sex force as well as a spirit force. Let's look at the gematria. So when you see Leviathan comes down to 38. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure. I just want to make sure y'all hear me. All right, now look at giant snake. Comes out to 38.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at this one, Apep, 38. The great flood of Noah occurred approximately 17,250,000 years ago. And this means that Noah existed long before Adam in the sense of time. In fact, Adam was descendants of Noah. The history of the ancients shows that a subcontinent called Atlantis existed at the time of the Great Flood. And it was submerged underwater by Lucifer's fall to earth after being casted from the sun. So once again, to the followers of York, the Bible interpretation only uses the word Noah to describe an event. And then only that, it tells you that Adam came after Noah. So when you look at York's books, York says Noah was a descendant of Adam. This is foolishness. because Adam and Eve came 6,063 years ago. The event of Noah happened 17 million years ago. How can Noah be after Adam and Adam was actually after Noah by millions of years? So this is what we're trying to explain to y'all about how APEP then coiled his lies around y'all mentally dead selves. So we're going to keep it. As it came to earth, the great serpent's powers cause what? Interference with the magnetism that controls the earth and moon in their courses. And this interference brought on the what? Great deluge, both from the sky and the waters of the earth, which roll over the paths of the planet like tidal waves. See, this is what the chat GPT was saying. It was calling it pulses. And it said that the power, look, you're talking about tidal waves. Why? Because you got water coming from the moon and the water coming from Earth. Now, let me explain something, because the Earth and the way the moon is stationed now, the waters are calm, correct? Now, when the moon moves, if the moon started moving right now, the waters are going to go crazy.
That's
and
right.
that should tell you something right there. Because a newt had found something. We put this in videos long ago. We'll get back on it again. But a newt had found that the scientists seen that the moon started moving in 1962. And I think they called it libation. Is the word that a newt had discovered. So it means the moon is slowly starting to move again. But back then, when the 9 ether water was there, that was life. The moon had to rotate in order to keep the waters fresh and moving. Because water that sits still turns dirty, and it draws mosquitoes and all types of dead, dirty water. Sick water is dirty, but moving water is fresh. And so that's how you know how strong that Leviathan was, that it stopped the moon from moving. And therefore the water still turned, right? But it took millions of years before the waters got to where we see them now. So guess what? So when 6 ether started pausing it, because it took 7 to 50,000 years for 6 ether to been embedded itself, the water was still spinning, and that what it was doing, mixing the waters of the 6 ether around the planet until it got to a stable place. What you see the waters look now before there's a tsunami or whatever. All right. So what it says, tidal waves. Lucifer is Leviathan. See, this is explaining that. Lucifer is Leviathan. Job, the 41st chapter, Isaiah, the 27th chapter, first verse, Revelations 12, chapter 9 verse, and Genesis 3, chapter 1. So this explains, once again, debunks York, who said that there was a serpent in the garden because there was no snake. It's telling you that was Leviathan. And we know that the garden was what? Africa and Asia. That means that Leviathan as energies was there. In this case, in Genesis chapter 3, the snake was just the Lucifer's bringing lust in the picture in the form of drugs. There was no person or personification of a being or a fallen angel dressed up like whatever all these religions been telling y'all. It's not that. It was a sexual 007 James Bond hit on the females, and the females got caught up and started getting high off the aphrodisiacs, and the nature book said they started showing off their curves, and it was putting sexual stimulus in the food of the priest to turn them on, and that's what Leviathan was. All right, so let's go. Now here is a depiction of Apep and Kemet. And here you see the symbol of water at the top and the snake in the bottom with knives stuck in his back. because it's showing you that this is the water that it moves in. But remember, Leviathan, when you depend on how you look at it, but this is just showing you how they looked at it and how they knew it was an enemy. Well, here it says a base relief of a poppet staff in the east ambulatory temple of what? Edfu. See, that's the temple that Ray Harakti or King Amenubi seen. He looked on the wall and he seen this. And he said, okay, I know what this is. The serpent has arrived. He knew that. Apep is under the hieroglyph for water with 5 objectives or knives called kop in the metal netta. The cat god mouth that represent the sun god Ra is seen holding the knife attacking Apep. And this is what he did. This is showing him killing Leviathan in the form of the priests and the nuns. You see that? He's poking them out. That's telling you he had them killed. Because Anu in chat already told you this. Because Anu said, well, can you show me this on the temples? And the chat went and they said, yeah, right here. Then he pulled up that Tahuti, the teacher, Tahuti, told him that Sekhmet was a military. So this is what this is. This is showing you a picture of Ray Harakti sending his weapons toward Leviathan. The snake, in this case, meaning the priests and the nuns, and I'm pretty sure by extension he took those Tibetan monks out too. Because they're the ones who sent that stuff to them. And that's an act of war. When a foreign country does something like this. So this is only confirming what Afro Unu said, what Anu in the chat said 2 videos ago. This is telling you that this is on the temple, and it was telling you that it's the sun god Ra is holding the knife attacking Apep. So now y'all getting things y'all didn't know. Here go another one. This is Ray Harak, this is the cat god holding the knife, cutting them up. And look, he got his pole on his head and he's chopping them up. It's telling you right there. This is the tomb of Inherkau, number 359, second chamber, south wall. The great cat of Heliopolis, what? Killing the enemy of the sun, Apophis. So now, and then you got Horu. Look, the Horus, that falcon is to his back. You're getting busy. So this is more proof that they was getting murked over there behind this, playing sex games. And even the Bible tells you the wages of sin is death. Because playing around with Tahuti, he gonna get you killed. This is why everybody running around now catching STDs all over the place. You got, and he ain't playing fair because he's working with Fauci and the rest of them. Because this is what they do. Sex is death. When you get away from the sacredness, now this is what you see. Look at this picture. Apep, Apophis, was the great serpent, ancient Egyptian god of chaos, Isphet, that reigned over the underworld and fought sun and creator god Ra and his solar bark, also solar barge in endless fights night after night. So we know that this image in the solar bark just means from the energy coming forth down through 6 West. And I got books and other things explaining this, but the solar bark is really the smack circle. And they talk about Ra on his night journey when you go through the 12 hours of the duat. And each duat represent one of the zodiacs on the long zodiac. So it's 3 million years apiece. That's what this represents. The 36 million years in the bottom half. And he's attacking Ra, but it's not attacking the sun itself because the sun emanates 6 ether. What this is telling you is that the serpent is attacking the physical representation, because the Ethiopian as a race represent the sun. So we are the ones being attacked in this image, because the Apep can't attack the sun. It's impossible to do so. But it can and has been attacking its descendants, which are us. All right. We got Apep again on the walls. Look at all these serpent heads. Got them again. Now we turn to the 9-ball count 2 on 6 ether. 6 ether is 9 ether in death. To put it another way, when 9 ether dies, it becomes 6 ether. As stated in count 1 of the booklet, the 9-ball, 9 ether is the completed combination of all existing gas. All right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to just jump down, because I want to get us into Neath. All right, so let's go down to Neath a little bit. All right, so 6 ether is the evolutionary force of evolution, and these forces are the zodiac called Leviathan, dragon and serpent in the Caucasian Bible. All right, 6 ether controls and rules during the evolutionary cycle on Earth by way of the moon. The evolutionary cycle is the cycle of death in the universe, and it covers 18 million year period. Okay, once again, York did not teach on 18 million years when he was out. And this is from the 9-ball. You're only going to find the 18 million years exclusively talked about in great detail is in the Nature of Nature books. When you look at York and the Holy Tablets, York is given astronomical numbers about how old the universe is. And he say that the universe is 76 trillion years old. That number is nowhere in any of Afro-Unu's writings. And that should show you that, number one, he took that from Elijah Muhammad, rest in peace, who took that from L. Ron Hubbard, who was a cult leader and a liar and a drug addict and a sex fiend who started the Church of Scientology. So if those are their sources, that should tell you you cannot trust nothing that these individuals are talking about. All right? It says, when the prominence of 6 ether breaks forth from the sun at death of the universes and reaches the Earth's magnetic field, it interferes with the Earth and Moon and their living courses, and the great delusional Earth called Noah's flood takes place. Side note, the event of Apep Apophis being spat out from Neath, a star herself, happened to all stars. See, now this is confirming what Anu just said earlier tonight on the last video, that Leviathan is everywhere, right? All right? It happened to all stars 18 million years ago, wherever all sunny verses exist. The discrepancy is that it was not at the beginning of existence out of the waters called Nun by ancestors, but at a later time as explained in New Science. Let's read again the birth of Neath. All right, so we already went through that and said the goddess Neath and how she spat out Apophis. We're going to jump over that. Listen to Sound Cosmic Reasoning. And Noon Science described the conditions before Neath was self-created from 9 ether matter. Listen to reason. When the matter of nature is impregnated by brain newts and the other factors necessary, indeed the blackness of vacuum germinates the majestic conception of universes, and vacuum also provides the space needed as time provides the continuity. The powers of absolute nature work spontaneously, automatically to do what they are supposed to. The process of universe impregnations and germinations go like this. Brain newts, by cycle, season, and reason, move chaotic matter into cloud-like formation of opposite forces in the center of the area chosen by the nature of nature for universe location. Now watch, I'm gonna go back up here. It said the goddess Neath spat in the what? Primeval waters. This is what the Nature of Nature books is talking about. Primeval, meaning prime, meaning first, because we're talking about the waters, and also, like Anu said, the frequencies as well, right? Because the brain newts have to first set out the frequencies or the concentration to move all that liquid mass from chaotic chaos to an order. So here's the hypothesis spring about our saliva. Why they use the saliva? Because they know that it's wet in the beginning from the chaos that's moving around. So this is why they're using terms like spat and spit and saliva. All right. Alternatively, Neith was the first being on the primordial mound. Keep that in mind. Then look what it says. Ra, blinded by his brilliance, could not see his mother when she called out to him. So he what? Shed the tears. So we're talking about liquid. Another liquid or watery substance is being used in the storytelling. So now we're going to remember the primordial mound. Always underline words in color because I want the reader to always remember why I did that. So now we're going down. So we see the brain newts is not entered into the conversation. It just says Neith spat out the primordial water. It's not saying what caused Neith to do anything. The brain newts are the cause. They are the prime movers. All right. They are the cause of causes. It says location. Opposite clouds, opposite gas, and chemicals clash, run together like the opposite gases into thunderstorm, and these loud and most potent explosions create vast vacuum holes. And like the clouds, these huge vacuum holes also run together, causing a what? Colossal, gigantic, immense vacuum hole, an incredible black hole, with this space definitely cleared and void of matter. See, this is what's left out. And this is also Afro answering a scientific question without them even asking it, because this is when black holes originally exist. So if the scientists saying that they seeing black holes at this point in time, how was that? Because the brain newts form black holes and then put matter in them. So how are they seeing black holes? Because black holes only exist in the beginning of the sunniverses. And wherever the original star is at, that's where the hole is at. But we'll keep it to another conversation. Brain newts can now pick and choose the highest quality matter for the brain core of what? The alpha star of the universe as matter moves in to fill in what? The vacuum ball. Therefore, that's what they're calling the black hole, y'all. It's the vacuum ball you're going to see what I'm talking about in a second. Therefore, the Big Bang that mundane scientists mention and try to describe happened before the stars begin to form. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Side note, brain newts are the first level of gods to put chaotic matter in order, called Nun, to the ancient Ethiopian African kinky haired race. Brain newts are represented by the flag symbol in Kemet. Here's the gematria. All right, so here you got the Kemetic name, the Netjer, you got the Netter, the Netir, the Netjer, and the Netcher. This is the symbol called a flag. I'm sure Newt and Nebo is familiar with this sign, correct? All right. Mm-hmm. So now we go down here and I look at it. Nitaru, 83. This is Gematria, 29. Newts, 83. 20. Netta. See the number down here, 20. Netta, 52. Newts, 52. 25. So all of these are geometrically connected. So those are the flags which represent the brain newts, as well as the oars, but we'll get into that later. So these are the flags, and they represent all types of things. Now here is what we're seeing. Listen to reason. The gestation period of the universe is in the last 18 million years from 0.3 south on the smack circle of order to 0.6 east. Now this is the this is the primordial chaos, and then the brain newts are now swirling this stuff together. But it's a vacuum hole, because you see it at the top. See, vacuum hole, and on the other side they say what? Primordial chaos. Our ancestors called it the primordial mound, but it was chaos. All right? The same circle. This paragraph shows demonstrations in shapes 8 and 9 depicting the gigantic black hole and the formation of what? The brain core of the alpha star, plus how the alpha star grows and forms the colossal universe nebula, also called a universe what? Water ball. Now this is the liquid state of what they're saying is calling the primordial mound, which is their version of their what Alpha Uno is calling the alpha star, the brain. This is what our ancestors were saying. It's formulated indeed by brain newts and their energy reason using the highest quality of matter, the brain core. Remember the word core kept coming up, and when Newt was talking about the sun, the core, the center of the alpha star, who is the center and controlling star of a universe. See, this is different than a star that's controlling the solar system. This star controls a universe, as well as the first star of the universe. See, and biggest star of the universe grows a body for itself as it rotates. Introduction to the Nature book, 2 pages 30 to 31. Now, listen to sound right cosmic reasoning. The ancients and known science both agree that the original mound that Neith came from and became was actually the alpha star of this universe. What this means is this: the biggest star, alpha star in our universe is UY Scuti. This is Neith, which is the biggest alpha mother star in our universe. So this is a picture of what she looks like versus what our sun looked like.
Just a dot.
I'm telling you. And so when they running around here, all these different individuals from the Hotep universe, they always talk about Ra, but they don't talk about Ra's mother. See, they always talk about the woman and this and that, but they don't talk about the female, Scuti. In the amazing illustration below, you can see just how massive UY Scuti is. Arcturus is a very large star compared to our sun, and UY Scuti absolutely dwarfs this giant star by comparison. Sirius and our sun are nowhere near as large. All right, comparison of UY Scuti of the stars. Definition of Scuti, word, origin, Latin, literally the shield. Latin scutum, meaning shield. This is important because the hieroglyphs for Neith is a shield and arrow. So this is right here. Look, there she go. It's on our forehead. These people are not naming these stars and stuff, these names for nothing. The same way when me and Anoop was looking at the asteroid belt, they got something called the Aten belt, I think. They got a lot of asteroids named after the Egyptian gods. Look it up. The Egyptian goddess Neith, the primary creator, bearing her war goddess symbols, the cross, arrows, and shield on her head, the Ankh and the Wa scepter. She sometimes wears the red crown of Lower Egypt. So I'm showing you right here, and it means shield. So we're connecting it. Look, offspring, Sobek, Ra, Apep, Tutu, Serket, because these are spiritual energies. And she spit them out, just like every other sun spit them out. Neith is called the primary creator. True peace, Ganny. Primary means first, and she was called the mother of Ra and Apep. If Ra or Re is our son, then his origin can only be from she can only be from a star as well. This is already discussed earlier. The point is this: the ancients knew the orbs were conscious and were the original gods and goddesses from the beginning of creation. The fact they made human figures and animal figures were for these two main reasons. One, the orbs made themselves known to the ancients through mental messages, spiritually sending messages by way of spirit incarnation, and physically information given by way of a person speaking correct or incorrect information, or it was made to be recorded, to be touched and seen in various forms in stone, clay, drawings, papyrus, etc. And two, the animal drawings were done to respect the universal laws that the bottom half is ruled by the zodiac. 6 ether is the zodiac, conscious depth gases of the universes in the atmosphere of the universe. It takes the form of animals and flesh and blood on the planets. And the head of the zodiac, the animal world, is mankind. All right, that's 9 ball count 2, number 10 apart. I'm gonna skip a little bit more. Let me see. All right, keep going. Okay, here we go right here. All right, let me go. Okay, mankind is head. Okay. All right, so it says here, listen to reason. It is written that the number 666 is the number of a man, and the man is called the beast, to whom the what am I? Okay, the beast to whom the dragon gives his power. The revelation and knowledge to be known here are this: Leviathan, who is also called what? The dragon, and the serpent is the god of the sea, also known as Poseidon, Neptune, and Sobek, the crocodile god of mythology. And this is why Enki, which means the ruler of Ki or earth, it's like a double name, because the water god in Sumer is called Enki in other names, but Enki is also Geb, because Ki is the Sumerian word for earth, and En is, I think, is ruler. So when you talk about the ruler of earth, in this case, it's talking about Leviathan, because Leviathan is the most powerful part of the earth god. And they just, so this is just, Afro is clarifying this, and you see he says here, Sobek is the crocodile god of mythology. When you understand why Sobek, or is the crocodile is used, because the crocodile is one of the oldest mammals in the bottom half. Correct, Anu?
It's a I think the crocodile is a either amphibian or a reptile, but it is one of the oldest.
Yeah, because the nature book used that. So it's saying it's in the crocodile shows you how old Neith is, or even Leviathan, because these are animals, and these certain animals, once you get up to date in this day and time and you start looking at the animals and be like, well, why did they use this? And you have to learn how to take it from the mythology presentation and then put it in this animal place and be like, okay, what does modern science say about this particular animal? But the crocodile and all that goes way back, and matter of fact, Afro mentions those by name in the nature books when he said the first water animals in the bottom half. He named, like I think he said crocodiles, dolphins, whales, sharks. Those are like some of the oldest ones. All right. So the secret is this: Leviathan, meaning the animal power of unity and what? Levitation. See this again, the Wapian statement. This is what we keep telling y'all. York was controlled by Leviathan, and it was lying to y'all through him. Represents all spirit beings, not no extraterrestrial, none of that. Including what? All gods and goddesses that exist in the bottom half of the smack circle of order during the bottom half existing, which is now, because, and I cut it off, Introduction to the Nature, book 1, page 161 in part. This means we orbs use animals to disguise our true selves in accordance with Zupu God's rules. In most cases, a deity's true nature is told right in the name. Example, Tahuti is called a moon god, which means his origin is from the god moon, his mental creator. Heru is a sun god whose mental creator is from Jutar or Jupiter. Neith is called the primary creator. Primary means first, and she was called the mother of Ra and Apep. If Ra or Re is our son, then his origin can only be from a star as well. This was already discussed earlier. Afro is drawn to how all nebulas began is actually the symbol for Ra, called the circumpoint, that are missing the other 9 ether egg stars before becoming mature 9 ether suns. So to the left is the circumpoint symbol for Ra in ancient Kemet. Afro drew this here. This is a picture out of book 3. So all you got to do,
And that's also a lotus flower too.
Gotcha. So all of this is showing you that the science is being put back into what the ancients were saying. Remember, we lost our reasonability. And remember, 6 ether damages the biological entities. So it destroys the physical, the brain. It also causes amnesia, forgetfulness, all of that. So this is why we had to put this stuff, and we put it in stone. We wrote it down. We did all that, chiseled it in, but it didn't matter because we eventually lost the reasonability. So Nupu had to come back and return and have Alpha Unu go through all this stuff and then put it in its true form. As you can see, the symbol of Ra is actually the drawing of how Anith grew the entire Sunniverses with the missing ball circles. This is why Anith Nupu was called the cosmic cow, because Anith Nupu was spinning off other nebulas that turned into suns. It looked like cow nipples. That was the best description for the regular people back then. This is also why Anith Nupu was drawn as a cow with stars. Let's relook at the drawings by Kri Ra Upu Nupu of the same picture up above from different perspectives. So this is the drawings of Afro Unu's book 3. But when you turn it on its side, you can see the balls underneath that look like nipples. Anything before I keep going further?
No, that's good. Good stuff.
Kri Ra Upu drawings, same drawing looked at from underneath, called nebula nipples by Neith and his writer. Let's look at the animal associated with Neith. There you go. You see the nipples underneath there? Those are the nebulas because they call it a cosmic cow. Remember, me and you went into this a while back, some years ago, when we was trying to break down Hathor. It was another video when you was dealing with the universe. Nut, yeah. Remember, we did like 3 videos was Nut physical or something like that, because we were breaking it down how York was making Nut a human-looking being, and we was telling the Sabians that this is not correct. And Leviathan kept personifying stuff way past what its true form is. So here, this is Nut and Neith to the left. Nut and Neith, you'll see what I'm saying. So we go a little closer. The people under the cow drawings are the other nebulas that came from me and turned into stars themselves. The milking of the others is just saying they got their life from me by way of Nupu, male and female energies that impregnated matter in the darkness of space. Look at the gematria before we move on. We got the cow, 74, the nebulas, 74. Here's another mystery explained. The image in goddess Nut is actually me, Neith. Nut is also called Nuit. That's just the word Nun and Neith combined to make another name. That is why the image of Nut is the same as my niece's image of the stars inside of her body. She too was called the mother. The essay below about her called Nut or Nuit explains how she was described sometimes as what? A cow goddess, as well as a god of rebirth, as the leading sun god Ra went into her mouth at night and came out of her in the morning. So that was just showing how, again, remember, up there said Neith spat out Apep and Ra and Tutu. So this is the same thing. So that going into her mouth is the brain noops impregnating, and then she spit all of them out. But that's you talking about millions of years process for that to happen, for the nebula to be formed, to put the suns in play, and then it goes into what, 900 years for a solar system to grow, and then 90 years for the orbs to be made, and then 9 years for the pygmy gods to pop up. So it takes 18 million years for all of the universe to be ready, and then it takes 900 years to put all of the galaxies together, then 90 years to grow the solar system and all that, and then 9 years for the first 2 pygmy gods to pop up. All right, so this is a condensed version, but Afro Unu explained it in the 9-ball and in other places. So here we got Nut again. So we already know that this is actually the universe. That's what this is. That's why you got this body with the stars in it. Because we know that the stars are suns, and we know that the universe is the body of Neith or Nut. And Noon science is called what? A hydrosphere. See, look at the spotted dots in the picture. Now, when you look at it, where Afro put it in its true form, the hydrosphere. Me and Anu dealt with this like almost, oh man, it's like 2016, man, something like this. So this is, again, Neith, Nut, Nuit, name for all the universes. The skin of a universe is known to mundane science as the observable universe. See? We giving y'all the science. This is what Noon is, not storytelling. This is, and they know, and look how they drew it like a circle. They know it's there. They know it's there. The observable universe is a what? Ball-shaped region of the universe comprising what? All matter that can be observed from Earth or its space-based telescope. Now look at the ancestors. How do they know this? How did they know this? Intelligence. Or its space-based telescopes and exploratory probes at the present time. The electromagnetic radiation from these objects has had time to reach the solar system. Remember, Anu just told y'all that Leviathan is all over the place and it comes from other stars. And they reaching down here. See, so they know this. This is why whenever they go out there in space, they can't stay long. Because you 6 ether calls you to age and die. It took millions of years for us to get to this level. We used to live millions of years. But Leviathan over time cut it short.
That's right.
So when it talks about in the Nature Book 3 and the Bible about Adam and them living 900 some years, that's true. But the bombardment of Leviathan knocking the energies out of electrons and all that and atoms, that changes things. The sun already showed you that the earth, soon as Leviathan hit it, the earth caught a chill. That's like you sleep in a warm room and somebody blow the wall off in the middle of winter, and then all the coldness come rushing in. That's how that was. It says it's had time to reach the solar system and Earth since the beginning of the cosmological expansion. Initially, it was estimated there may be 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. That number was reduced in 2021 to only several hundred billion based on data from New Horizons. And it's funny they use the word horizons as well. Assuming the universe is isotropic, the distance to the edge of the observable universe is roughly the same. And look, every direction, that is, the observable universe is a spherical region centered on the observer. Every location in the universe has its own observable universe, which may or may not overlap with the one centered on Earth. Now look at this. Afro used the same description that's underlined in red about the size of the universe being a sphere or ball shape. So this is what isotropic means. Identical in all directions, having the same properties in all directions, right? Equally elastic in all directions. Afro says, of course, an orb is a ball or circle like the sun, earth, or moon of our solar system. The mobility of roundness is one reason why the ball and its outlines, the circle, are the perfect and favorite form of the Almighty, and all scientists maintain that absolute nature is what? Global and perfectly round, because from any point whatsoever in eternal existence called infinite nature is the center point of roundness, because endlessness in space is the same distance in all directions from any point, remembering that the circle point of perfection ball is equal distance from all contours of the ball surface. Let it be remembered, let it be known. Introduction to the Nature Book 2, pages 19 to 20 in part. Now, how did Afro knew that without a telescope? How did he know that? Before the scientists knew, he knew that. No telescope. York told y'all that a 4-foot alien named Anu caused a black dot to blow up, and everything came from that. Foolishness, because that's not endlessness. That's a point. It's no such thing as this food. Well, we're going to get to y'all creation stories. I'm going to destroy them. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Your little member here, don't you worry. Equal distance, a local equidistant from two major cities, representing map distance true to scale in all directions, equidistantly adverb. Let's return back to the story of Neith, Uwa Scuti, Alpha Star, and Apep's origin. All right, so we read our story again. We wrote that again. We come down here. Now to be clear, Apophis, Leviathan was a solar power force during the top half for 36 million years before being ejected from our sun Ripu to planet Earth 18 million years ago, according to Noon Science. We shall address this now. Leviathan, Apep, position in nature in general is defined in the words Nodiac and Zodiac. Listen to sound right reason. Look at the figure 4 in this topic of this volume. It is an end surrounded by a circle. It is the nuke, which is in the top half of the smart circle of order. See figures 3, 10, and 37 farther ahead in its subject. And it stands for nature, Numut, Nupu, Noon, Nine, Novum, North, Ability, Novu, Node, etc. The nuke, which may also be called Nodiac, as the opposite of the Zodiac, means what? The unity of gods and goddesses. Like Zoop, Zodiac means the circle and unity of humans and animals. Introduction to the Nature, Book 3, page 23 of the PDF. The key word here is unity. Let's read how Leviathan is defined in Noon. The secret is this: Leviathan, meaning the animal power of unity and levitation, represent all spirit beings, including all gods and goddesses, right? Now, Leviathan in the sexual unity, Leviathan is the sexual unity of the orb, suns, planets, satellites, animals, spirits, gods, goddesses, and human beings. This time we are in now. During the time in the top half, Leviathan is the mental and ethereal spiritual unity of the orb, spirit, gods, goddesses, pygmy gods, and goddesses when they exist. Listen to reason. Last but not least, the letter E in the word and name nature symbolizes ether, entirety, energy, Ethiopian, endlessness, eternity, euphoria, ecstasy, ending, education, elimination, elements, equality, emptiness, eggs, emotion, evolution, and also equilibrium as well as enlightenment, right? Natural ether in the form of reason is the creative energy throughout nature in its entirety, and the word Ethiopian was originated from the root word ether. Of course, absolute nature is endless in space, matter, and time in all directions, and eternity, infinity, or other ways of saying it. Undoubtedly, energy is the active ingredients of matter, and it causes euphoria and ecstasy, as well as creation and destruction. But energy, especially in the form of spirit beings, can be very tricky. Let it be remembered, also let it be known. Introduction to the Nature, Book 1, page 29. Listen to reason. At origin, birth of a universe, since there are no individual males or females of flesh and blood to produce flesh and blood people on orb earth, this writer repeats, the forces that be must do it. The sun and earth and moon, aided by spirit beings, the spirit gods and goddesses of absolute nature. In the top half of smart circle of order, during the time that exists, there's no organic sex intercourse. Even after flesh and blood gods and goddesses who have sex organs themselves are created, these great beings experience euphoria and great pleasure in the fact that they are gods and goddesses, and thereby able to sun energize and ray beam to wherever they wish to go by the help of spirit beings, plus the fact that they have sympathetic nerve asymmetry. And Anu gonna rip y'all a new one when we get to this. Right here. Y'all go, boy, look here. The sympathetic nerve signals of joy that give them great feelings of pleasure each time. Look, The sun replenishes that non-ether energy and power. The source of the Nile River in Africa, right? Introduction to the Nature Book 1, 169 in part. I'm just proving my point that Leviathan in the top half. Leviathan APEP is an enhancer energy force that manifests itself in the form of two greatest forms of power in existence. 9 mind mental power when Nupu rules, and 6 mind sex power when humans and animals rule. All right, so we already went through that about sex, the art of sex. We did that a couple of videos ago. So we're gonna go down again. Let me see, jump. I don't want to give away too much of the book. It will be out. All right. Here's another one. Oh yeah, here's a good. These are good. I'm gonna end it with these. I'm gonna end it with these, baby. We're gonna go and do it like this. All right. So as you have just seen, especially Mr. Earl Dackins and Mr. York did not adhere to the Bible interpretations and explanations and the 9 bold counts that explicitly warned about Leviathan. APEP is a giant sex force. Mr. York, Eligio, Bishop, Nature Boy, Young Pharaoh, Brother Polite, and the whole world is being controlled by APEP in one form or another. Apophis, Pepe, Leviathan. Here is the gematria for Leviathan's helpers. All right, so we already know who it is. It's Mr. York, Mr. Dwight, Nabab Yanun, 38. Leviathan, 38. Numbers don't lie. Malachi, 29. Pepe, 29. I told you he was possessed by Leviathan hardcore. York, 39. Apophis, 39. Eligio Bishop, Mr. Nature Boy. Eligio, 3 God, 39. Apophis, 39. Sound like we playing bingo. 39. Bishop, 33. Apophis, 33. 3 God, 29. Pepe, 29. All these individuals had sex problems. Marshall Daniels, Young Pharaoh. And look at that image on the inside of his arm.
What's that? Can't. On the screen, it looks smaller. What's that
like
image
of?
of?
I think it's a 6-pointed star with a circle. With the way it's drawn, okay. How it's sitting, it looks like how they try to slide the Baphomet on movies and try to show you the 5-pointed star, but they're turned it a certain way where it looks like the Baphomet horns. That's how it look on his arm. Apophis, 84. Marshall, 84. Apophis, 33. Young Pharaoh Allah, YP Allah, 33. Mister. Look at the Mister. Brother Polite. Brother Polite, 70. APEP, 70. Bingo. Michael Noack, 92. Leviathan, 92. fish business. This is why this writer Neef Kemet Meru Jutar Kenun Nupu released multiple videos with Leviathan in the titles to warn the intelligent and the unintelligent about this bottom half water god that is bringing judgment and death to all of the beings on planet Earth who are guilty and will not make it through Armageddon. The rest of this year, know whether they guilty elite make it to February 5th, 2025 or past that date. All right, so that's my spiel. Cause I can go deeper. We got 115. You know what? Let me extend it. Since we got a little time on our hands, let me extend that.
Why not?
Let me beat them to the end, because that's what I do.
I love it.
Let's beat them beyond measure. All right, so York once again claimed to be the supreme being Murdoch, right? Because we're going into Sumer again, and Murdoch is supposed to be the son of Enki, right? And York said these people was half reptilian and half Anunnaki. And I just want you to see he called himself the grandson of a Sumerian god, right? So let me go to the unholy tablets so y'all can see that. I want to give y'all the proof first, so nobody can say, "Oh, he didn't show it. He was saying that," because they love to lie to y'all. Those who don't go this deep. So let me see. I don't know if y'all can see it. Tell me, can you see it? I may have to make it bigger.
It's definitely very small.
How about now?
It's still small because it's split up into 2 pages, so you might have to make it bigger on one page itself.
Let me see.
Is there a way to do it like that, or you might have to just?
I'm trying to make it bigger. No, that ain't gonna work. Hold on, because I'm looking at it on my joint. Let's see.
I mean, just do it as large as you can, and then just we'll just listen.
Hold on, maybe let me screenshot the page. Hold on, I think I could do that because I like to have evidence of the stuff that I'm doing. Okay, hold on. I had the picture. Let me get it back. All right, let me see if I can. Gotta get the right thing down. Hold on. It's not the right one. Oh. Hold on. I got a different kind of. I want y'all to see the screenshot. I screenshot it, but I don't think I got it right. Sumerian Leviathan document. Okay, maybe this is it. I think I got it. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can grab this because I want y'all to see this. Let me see. Okay, window. Okay, all right. All right, let me know. Can y'all see this?
Yeah. Well, I could.
Can you see it, Nibu?
You on mute, Nibu.
Okay. Can you blow it up just a little bit, and then I can make it out a little bit more?
All right, hold on. How about now?
That's a lot better. Yeah.
All right, so you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 171. We start from 170 and hold the tablets. This is on page 1650. It says, in this scroll I'm known as Alahum Mikael, also known as Marduk, Marduk, Amar Utu, Azag, and Amanubi Rukatah, which we know this is a corruption of Amanubi Rukatah. So we know that's a lie. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm the grandson of the Most High El. See how sick he is? How are you the grandson of the Most High? Foolishness. The heavenly one and knew who is the warring Elohim, whose name is Mikael. So when you look at this in the Sumerian, the Marduk is a son of Enki, and Enki is the half brother of Enlil. All right, so I just wanted to get that down. All right, so let me take this down so they can stop crying because they made all these mistakes. Now we're gonna go to my wife's Facebook page. Can y'all see that? Mm-hmm. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Blow it up just a little bit.
How about that? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, so it's hard to see, but this is Enki. This is who York claimed is his genetic father. All right. So when you go into the tablets, it talks about, we read this other day, but I'm reading it again. It said this police department even harassed Nusco and Calcael. So the 600 that came to kill Earth now broke up into two groups of 300 each, male and female. Those who followed Enki, who was surrendering himself to Hindu deities called Leviathan. Now this is who York says is his ancestors, but you could tell this guy looks like York in the face. I told you York made a lot of his drawings look like him. They just made it long. But we'll get into that later. But you can see this is York. So York is telling you he surrendered himself to Hindu deities called Leviathan. All right, so now me and Earl was going back and forth. So I'm like, so this is who York had y'all worshiping, Enki. Now look, it said in the Black Book 2, aka the Sacred Records, Arthur Enki had sex with his own daughters. Let me see if we can tell if y'all can see that.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's good?
Yeah, it should be good.
So
yes.
All right, so you say you had to marry a daughter of one of them, just like African tribes are doing today. When two tribes come together, they keep the peace by offering their daughter to the ruler or to marry to another tribe. This was the case with Id and Anu. This mixture is what made Enki part reptilian and part Anunnaki. And the reptilian side of Enki dominated the Anunnaki side, which made him more sexually active. Now remember, this is York's ancestors. York said he's the son of Enki. So Enki he's going to show you that Enki got a sex problem because reptilians enjoy sex with humans. And York done said on many occasions he was part reptilian. That's why he had all them women. They are constantly abducting humans for that main purpose. Enki was given into his reptilian side. He even went as far as having sexual intercourse with his daughter, granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter, etc., just to bear his son so that son could take and live position. Now, this is what York was writing. What you think about that?
Oh yeah, and I also explain how a lot of the Sabians are walking around talking about how people how we need to embrace our reptilian side.
And if they believe that reptilians are outer space traveling, that means it's ain't number 6 ether out there in the stars. And they out there in the space traveling from 6 ether solar system to 6 ether solar system. So y'all finna get raped and eaten by the time they get here. What about that? Let me see. That's what they told to do. And it just show you right here. Let me see if I can make it smaller. I made it too big for that. Let me see. I don't know if y'all can see that. I can always pull a book up though. Okay, what book is this? Page 310. Hold on. I'm gonna just pull a book up. I don't know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that?
Blow it up some.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me see. Hold on. I can just... All right, let me see. So this right here, you say y'all can or you can't?
You just had to blow it up a little bit.
It's not showing that. I can't make it go up and down. Hold on, let me just go. It's
all good.
All right, let me go to the what you call it. I got the book. So here it talks about the semen and how Inky was obsessed with trying to get a son, but then explains how they just kept taking semen. You see at number 93, he took Nimble, kissed her, Inky poured the semen into the womb of his own daughter. She drew the semen into the womb, Inky's semen. So he taking his semen and putting it in his own kids. Verse 111, he took Nindara, kissed her, Inky poured the semen into the womb. So she drew the semen into the womb of his daughter, Nindura. So this is who York say he a descendant from. And this why,
Didn't he have a child with his daughter too?
Yeah, he had one. Her name was, I think it was Hagar. Let me see something. And I always, respectfully, I just want to, that is true. That's something that did happen. And she didn't help Chuck. She didn't help Chuck in a lot of his articles, and a lot of Sabians don't like Hathor, Hagar. I'm sorry, because of the because she's been helping him over the years, which she should, because they don't realize what Leviathan is. That's why we had to go through all of this to tell them the same thing. Let me see. I can pull this up. No, I need to go back. Go back. I need to go into my group. I'll go back into my group. Okay, go back into my group. That's a lie that you can't find nothing here. That's a lie. Okay, because I just pulled this up before. Let me see if I can come up this way. Because York was doing this stuff and he talked about it. He was like, yeah, you know, Inky and Anu and all of them had sex with their own. Like he'll talk about Enlil raped his half sister, and then she became his wife. And he would tell these stories because he wanted them to get used to that. And he would give that to them slowly but surely. And so we got all this stuff in the group. It's just a matter of finding. Let me see if I can pull this up. If it's different things we got in here. Let me see. Okay, I got to the end. It depends on the title. Sometimes I just got to remember the title. Let me go back to this, though. I do remember this particular. Okay, so let me try to make this. All right, take y'all down through there. Now, this is an old post. Now, tell me if y'all can see that. Can y'all see this?
Yeah, the Devon Washington.
Yeah, no, it's the next one. This is the post I did June 1st, 2015. Let me know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see it, Nebo?
But the letters is small, I guess, because of the what
yeah. I'm gonna break it down. All right, so this this is what I wrote at the bottom. This post about how partner Bob had herpes for years and how he had sex with his own daughter Hagar, and those who were there knew York was practicing incest. New cult members need not reply. Y'all was not in the loop. So this is from an old. These is from before they had Facebook and stuff. They had like little sites like Yahoo groups before they had a website, and people was having all these conversations. So I just went over there because I used to be over there, and you can look at it. So I'm gonna look at this one. Tell me if y'all can see that.
Yeah.
It said Dwight York had herpes since the time of Bushwick Avenue. One of the nurses on the medical committee would purchase his medication. This was common knowledge among many people how wicked a man to not only molest children in such a vile way, but also to subject them to herpes and other things. You idiots have opened your eyes when he started taking the young girls that was born there as his mates. You are all trying to attack Abigail Washington and others. You resent the fact that she had such courage to put herself on the line to stop this madness. Jamila, Miriam, have you no shame? You sold Hagar and your other daughters for much less than 30 pieces of silver. You are the people that want to continue the so-called nation. You are all vipers, your birth, your children, and turn around and eat them. Tell the Evans family the truth about their twins. If you have a heart, let the girls have a chance at life. Tell their parents the truth so they can help their children. Children who, go to the next one. Because all this stuff, I think, was like on like maybe 2000. It could have been 2001, 2002, somewhere up in there. All right. He said, receive any help as a guaranteed future of drug addiction, prostitution, alcoholism, and all manner of evil things to look forward to. You are trying to put out lies and save face and duping people into thinking there's something to hold on to. You are trying to make sure that money keeps coming in. You people of the nation, allow yourselves to think. Stop being afraid. Think of all the times you were hungry, cold, lived in filth. Your children went without. The basic. Amina, you have been dogged for years. You are mentally abused. You show all the symptoms. Get help before you were destroyed by the demon Dwight York. You were a beautiful human being. I could go on with the list of Dwight's evil deeds to his followers dating back from the 60s are these attributes of a master teacher, spiritually advanced human. He is a demon. He moved to the dark side a long time ago. As harsh as this writing sounds, I'm saying, please wake up. Look at him for what he is only then. Let me see. I guess I'm reading them out of order. Not and never was his name. You people that reside on the land want to use these lies as your meal ticket. Wake up. He didn't. He plea bargained because his deeds were so vile that he was afraid of it coming out to the public. He did not plead guilty, as you idiots are trying to say. Why weren't his followers allowed in the courtroom so you all could witness the so-called not guilty plea? Why are you idiots protesting for a man who sentenced and did not plead guilty or had a trial? Hagar, Dwight's daughter, speak up, free the people and yourself. You know you were one of the children having sex with your father. You know before you left, you had contemplated killing yourself. The birth of your first child left you terrified because you were not sure if it was your husband or someone walked in and caught you with your father. Hagar, you are just a victim as all others. Free yourself in the nation. Tell the parent who have doubt that their children are molested with herpes. Let me see. Abuse. You should show all the symptoms. Get help before you were destroyed by the demon. Dwight, you're a beautiful one. Yeah, I read this one here. So this is when I did this post all the way back in 2015. Because we know this is what York was teaching them. And he was giving them stories out the Bible in his version as well, because that's what he wanted to do. That's what he was doing. Even York was, messing with this Asian woman. We're going to go into all this stuff as time goes on. So we don't reach the time frame about 1:35. I think that was good. I don't need to go no deeper. I think everything was presented and formatted well. The last video was awesome. And so I did my part. We'll keep going forward, but we just wanted to keep doing the great work. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that showed up on the panel, anybody that's listening, and future people that will be listening. Come to the website, newpanoon.com and findoutnews.com and get some books, get some knowledge. And that's it. 2 Mythic Causes of Peace. I'm talking Nupu, and I'm done.
Peace.
True peace.
That's it. Nibu. We can't hear you.
True peace.
Unmute.
Yeah, peace. I would just like to add that the first video was powerful, and the second one as well was phenomenal. Just breaking it down even deeper as far as York and so forth, and look forward to more and more information coming out. But most of all, just knowing the energy that compels this the ghost race, the Caucasian race, what compels them to do the things that they do is just it just was broken down as far as the makeup of them being part of the protons, the helium nuclei, and the heavy particles.
Amazing. Yeah, man. There's more of that to come soon. So have no fear. The Justice League is here.
Yeah. So so on that note, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. We really did a double up tonight, but that was good. I was proud of y'all. True peace.
Yeah.